Hello, welcome to My Startup TV. I'm Major Sunil Shetty. We are doing this series of TiE50 Hyderabad founder series, where my next guest is Rajeev YSR, who's the founder of ThunderPlus, a EV charging station startup. Hey Rajeev, welcome to the show.
Hello, Major Sunil. Thank you very much for having me here.
So Rajeev, I know you've been wearing multiple hats. You've been in the startup Hyderabad startup ecosystem. Do you want to talk about how your journey started off? And till the time you launched ThunderPlus.
So, I always had these entrepreneurial instincts from the beginning. Even during the campus days at IIT Madras, there are many initiatives. While we call them as startups now, but at the time the terminology called startup never existed, right? It is like projects and pilots and initiatives. I tried multiple things. Some of them passed, some of them failed, etc. And after that, after my engineering, I started my career with TVS Motor Company for about a year and Bosch for about 4.5 5 years in India and Germany. Then Mahindra, and then GATI Logistics. So while I was doing all of these things, especially I think during the stint with Bosch and Mahindra, I had an opportunity to be a product manager. So a product manager is somebody who is responsible for end-to-end of the product, technology, market, sales, launch, everything, right? So that's where I got the opportunity to really explore how a product owner or a business owner behaves in the context of a corporate comfort and cushion that you get monthly salary, you don't really have to worry about paychecks, etc. But having done that and having said that, I joined this GATI Logistics to start their EV operations in the year 2017-18 when IKEA came to Hyderabad. GATI was the last mile delivery partner, and by contractual obligation, GATI had to develop the last mile delivery operations for IKEA through EVs. That was when I was hired, and I started building up I would say, electric vehicle mobility as a service, which we gave it to my Amazon, Big Basket, Flipkart, Grofers, etc. Thanks to our MD chairman at the time, Mr. Mahindra, he identified that spark in me. And he carved out a different company within GATI called Avan India. And what he has done, the entire electric mobility initiatives that is happening under GATI Logistics, he brought this into this particular Avan India. And that's where I got an opportunity to run my entrepreneurial, I would say, career, right? And having worked with them for about 3-4 years, then I was called by a group which earlier built buses and then they sold it to Mega Engineering. It is popularly known as Electra Green, the very Hyderabad owned or based electric bus manufacturing company. The founding team called me and said that we are now venturing into electric three-wheelers, both passenger and cargo. We have seen your active collaboration through GATI Logistics into various operations. Why don't you come and join as a CBDO and develop the entire business? So I thought, okay, from a logistics perspective, it is always good to go into an OEM perspective, and I joined them. About a year and a half, I got an understanding that EV is the thing in the future. But still, I was an employee. Then I worked with government of Andhra Pradesh for a year and a half. Then I went to US to do my MBA at MIT Sloan School of Management, Boston. There I tried again my entrepreneurial things. 1 year, of course, there, tried meeting different investors, VCs, etc. What I have realized is, despite building whatsoever credibility in India, again in the US, you have to start from scratch. And being mid-30s, you have a family, you have children, and they are here, you are there, didn't really give me the mental peace. That's when I decided that let me go back and whatsoever I wanted to try, let me try in India. I came back. I met the chairman of the same company, Ito Group, right? Where I built the business for three-wheelers, etc. I bounced him off with 3 ideas. Idea number 1 was EV Masterclass, where it is all about skill development among EV industry ecosystem and then support the industries and in the process make money. Second one is CXOs Club, more like a startup accelerator where you collect group of aspiring entrepreneurs, you mentor them, you pick up their equity, etc. Third one is charging infra. Why charging infra? Because in the US, what I've realized is for every 15 cars, there is one EV charging. Thanks to Tesla, abundant EV chargers, you don't have the charger anxiety. Whereas in India, 300 cars share one public charging station. Right? So this is again very close to the ecosystem. So I bounced off all these 3 ideas with him. He was kind enough to try all these 3. And interestingly, as a prime, I would say, investor, we started in the month of Jan 2024. With a top line of 8.3 lakhs. And the traction was such a way that by Jan 2025, it was 83 lakhs per month. And by March 2026, we did 10 crores with a positive EBITDA. And by March 2025 we did. October 2025, whatever we have done throughout the entire year, we finished those targets in 10 crores in this month. So, to your question, why this entrepreneurial spirit and this thing? So, I had that, I would say, desire always. And I think the right opportunity came, the right problem statement has come, and I think the right investors and mentors also come into place. And above all, it is God's grace that whatever we have journeyed so far started giving us certain fruits.
Very interesting. And how important is the fact that, you started off working in different organizations, and there is a connect. If you see logistics and, EV, automobile, so you connected all those dots, and then you reached, then you also did an entrepreneurial, journey, and then you got the opportunity to go abroad and also understand how the international market is, and bringing all of that together to launch what you're doing, ThunderPlus. Would you recommend aspiring entrepreneurs to have that kind of a, if not all that you did before launching your own entrepreneurship, but to have a decent size of exposure before launching their own entrepreneurship? Or would you say, if you have an idea, just go ahead and do it?
See, there is no yes or no answer to this. It is contextual measure. See, there are two kinds of stars. One is a born star. When I say born star, he has those instincts. He's a hunter, right? From the time he wakes up, his thinking would be, where is my next kill? Now, there are very rare species but there are people like that. For them, I recommend, if at all they have determined to start it up, they will learn on the way. Their grit and determination is so strong that rejections and no's will not put them off. They will fall 7 times, get up 8th time and still run. So for those hunters, for those people with that instinct, I don't recommend that they have to go through this grill, right? But there are certain other set of people who are calculated risk takers. That means they have the desire, but they are conscious of their circumstances. They know whether they can take the risk now, how important is their salary to support their dependents or to them. These are conscious risk takers. For them, I would recommend that get into a job, get into a corporate world. But even at your job, whether you are a simple engineer, junior engineer, or a senior manager or a VP, behave as if that department, that the company belongs to you. You can always work like an entrepreneur even in an organization. Behave that things from start to end are with you. The bug ends with you. Right? Start demonstrating those capabilities, and in the process you will learn. And during the process, acquire all the skills, leverage network, people, right? Demonstrate your credibility, your capability. Because entrepreneurship is all about trust and credibility and capability. Somebody, if at all you say that I'm going to solve this problem, people in the market must trust you that this person is able to solve this problem. And that doesn't come just on overnight. You will have to build that credibility step by step, right? So for those instinct killers, I would say go from day one. But then the percentage would be probably 1 to 2%. Whereas the rest of the people, most of us like this, I would recommend that they acquire those skills, build their credibility, understand the market, understand the nitty-gritties, and then I would say the drama of the entire thing. And of course, get into the entrepreneurial world.
No, very well put, because it's fact, that one does not become, not everybody has that entrepreneurial mindset. But I think the biggest takeaway here is the fact that what you said, even if you are a VP, even if you are a product head, think like an entrepreneur. Absolutely. And own that whole process. So that also entrepreneurship mindset you build over a period of time. It's not like overnight you'll say, okay, I'll switch on, I switch, now I become an entrepreneur. So you build it up, right? So coming back to ThunderPlus, you already said you found you knew what you had 3 ideas, and you homed on to one, which is I think a brilliant move, and then you had an investor who was ready to put in support. You got the support. So you also homed on to a very niche within that whole EV charging, right? So do you want to talk about what exactly ThunderPlus does, and where are you? What are the touch points?
See, again, this is another, it's a great opportunity. So another advice is, if you are building solutions for everybody, you are building solutions for nobody, right? That needs to be very clear. As an entrepreneur, you cannot go the length and breadth to satisfy every person whom you think your customer is, right? So be very focused on who your customers are and what his problem area. In my case, what happened is, from the experience of running fleets, with respect to GATI and Ito Motors. What I realized is, as much as vehicles and drivers are important in running the fleet operations, the right charging infra is also important, right? Because it is 50-50. Your charging infra is running 24/7, your vehicles are charged up, there is no downtime. There is some problem in the power, fluctuations, charges, whatsoever, your entire operations go for a toss, right? So that's where I've noticed that this is a problem that needs to be solved. Now, when you look at charge point operators, right, most charge point operators that you see in the country right now, they started charging stations with B2C as a customer. Versus me, I started my charging journey with B2B as a customer. I knew that there is a specific set of customers, the fleet operators, the aggregators, passenger cargo. They are struggling with this particular point. So I go to them and I set up hubs, park, charge, everything, and then I serve those customers. What happened is those hubs have become operational from day one as well as profitable from day one, because you have a paying customer, you have an infrastructure developed for them, they pay and then they use the infrastructure. I didn't create a charging infra and then I'm now praying for the customers to come and park. Then what I've done, I converted these park and charge hubs into semi-public. That means inside the compound, it is all about fleet operators. Outside the compound, I have fast charging stations set up for B2C customers. Now you see, my base is already taken care by fleet, and my extra fillip comes from the B2C customers. So throughout my entire expansion, this is the only logic that we have followed, that any charging station that you deploy, ensure that it is viable and profitable, if not from day one, at least from 1 to 2 months from the time it is operational. That can only happen when you solve specific problems to specific customers, and then the rest of the things is all bonus. That's why, Major Sunil, I would like to say, among all the charging point operators that we have, among all, right, we are the only company who are able to get nice project funding and debt funding from SBIs and other banks. You know what is the qualifying criteria for us to get even 1 rupee as a, I would say, debt fund from them? You need to be profitable in your EBITDA. I have no dependency, I have no urgency to go to a VC because I am not burning for my growth. My growth is fueled by my own margins, and hence I go to a simple debt fund, take a fixed rate of interest, and I develop my business.
You are doing what charging station does to a vehicle. Slow charge, gradually, and not, don't give a supercharge, where the VC money tends to do it, right? So you're structuring your expansion, you're pacing it well. That's the whole idea, right? So talk about the presence. Are you currently limited to Telangana, Hyderabad, or you expanded to other states? And what's the future plan like?
We started with one city, one state, Hyderabad and Telangana. Today, we are present in 16 states and 60 plus cities with 250 plus hubs in the context that I told you, that accommodate together 1,000 plus chargers and installed capacity of 12 megawatt. And on a daily basis, we dispense around 15,000 to 20,000 units per day. Right? And then this is across the length and breadth and I would say east and west of the country. We have chargers in Delhi around area. We have chargers in Kolkata around area. We have chargers in Mumbai and Pune, as well as the entire south. And our focus, like you rightly mentioned, we don't believe in sporadic, I would say, expansion. We follow something called network expansion. Now, what do we mean by network expansion? We tied up with Flixbus. Flixbus is again the German unicorn, present across the world, and in India we are the only partner for Flixbus developing charging infra. So how we did the network expansion? Hyderabad, I have set up a 240 megawatt charging stations at 3 different locations so that they are comfortable. Then in Suryapet, I have set up almost 1 megawatt charging station. Then in Vijayawada, I have set up around 3 megawatt charging station. So now Hyderabad to Vijayawada is charged up. Then from Vijayawada, I moved to Rajahmundry and Visakhapatnam. Now from Vijayawada, I am going towards Chennai. And Hyderabad, I'm going towards Bangalore. So what happens is every nodal point that I set up a charging station becomes an origin for the next nodal point. So when you start developing in this network expansion, what happens is customers gain confidence. They know that, okay, ThunderPlus is already in Hyderabad, Vijayawada, Visakhapatnam. Now, instead of going for somebody else, I would rather ask ThunderPlus, hey, why don't you set me up one in Tirupati and one in Chennai so that I can create Vijayawada, Tirupati, Chennai? I said, yes, why not? So what we follow is an anchor customer approach and a network expansion approach.
So, you're basically, getting your charging stations and deploying them for your business part, B2B, right? Do you also manufacture, or you have a partnership for manufacturing these charging stations?
Brilliant question, Major Sudhir. So, we don't believe in inventing the wheel, reinventing the wheel, right? We believe in filling the gaps. For example, I'll tell you how we fill the gaps. All the charger manufacturers at this point of time have focused on building fast chargers for cars. So you call CCS2 as a protocol, and from 30 kilowatt DC to 480 kilowatt DC, people have developed fast chargers. But if you actually look at the need for fast chargers is a need for fleet operators. But for a B2C customer, if you have a car, you would rather charge the car overnight and use it throughout the entire week. So who is the actual beneficiary of a fast charger is your delivery boys at Swiggy, your delivery boys at Amazon, Big Basket, Flipkart, because they run 80 to 100 kilometers a day. And then these vehicles only give 60 kilometers. The minute you enable them with a fast charger, that means in 10 minutes, if you let them charge for about another 80%, they get to do another 1.5 days work, right? So that's the time we looked at the market. Nobody focused on developing fast chargers for two-wheelers and three-wheelers. That's where we picked up that as a clue. And we are the first company to develop light electric vehicle direct current chargers for two-wheelers and three-wheelers. And then we also promote this through a campaign called Chai Pe Charge. We tell them, hey, delivery man, delivery boy, take a 10 minutes chai break. And while you sip the chai in 10 minutes, your vehicle gets charged up to 80% in 10 minutes, right? So this, since nobody does it, we manufacture internally. Second thing is, most people looked at charging infra as a necessity from a consumption perspective. I started looking at it from a passive income generator. For example, remember the old STD booth business? People have pawn shops, people have hotels, medical shops, everything. But then there would be an STD. And you're right. Families lived on those booths. And you really don't have anybody. If there is a coin box, people come, put a coin, make a call and do it. Then I thought, why can't a charging business also be like an STD booth business? So I developed a charger, which is a complete metal body, IP67 protected. That means dust, rain protected. A pole mounted. Looks very similar to an STD booth. Right? Then I said, instead of a coin drop, I would rather put a QR scanner where once people scan it, they can choose whether they want to charge by units or money or time. And that's it. And this I started installing on the compound walls, outside the hotels, outside the shops. And I started looking charging as a passive income generator. While somebody might have a showroom of clothes as their main source of income, but they can always have an STD booth in the form of EV charging, right? This product was also not available in the market. I developed this product at less than $100. And now these products are very, very prominent among the residential communities, office complexes, and banks such as Asia Development Bank, foundations such as Infosys Foundation, and MEPMA and SERP, which are for the elimination of rural poverty. They work with us in sponsoring these chargers to war-martyred women so that they can generate 7,000, 8,000, 10,000 rupees per month. Right? So that's how, from a manufacturing perspective, we do not compete with products which are already doing well in the market. We collaborate. But when we identify the gap, we wait for none. We go ahead, we build those products.
And also there, I'm seeing that they're also following a B2B instead of going to end customer as a standalone STD booth sort of a model. They're also giving it to organizations. B2Bs and B2Gs. And quickly to close that part, what is the investment for an individual user?
It is less than $100. In the sense, less than 9,000 rupees. That's all you need. 9,000 rupees. For example, you have a beautiful house here and you have a nice parking lot outside. 9,000 rupees, the charger will be there. And this charger will be visible on Google, on my app, and my app has got an OCP integration with all charge point operators. That means anybody in the country opening up and then checking for a charging station in Sainikpuri, they will find this.
And does it is it in compliance with the electric department? Because they tend to have, they would have all these fine print rules that you don't come to know. So,
question, Major, and I must appreciate your detailed eye. Since it is a 3.3 kilowatt, this load is permissible under the DISCOMS Act. So you don't need the permission? Nothing is required, even as commercial. Nothing. Yes.
If this is a residence, I'm paying residential rates. But the moment I put a commercial element outside, then they would say, hey, that's a commercial activity, but you're using domestic line. So would that be a conflict?
Good question. The policy did not mature until then. Okay. It could be two ways. Maybe the government wants to keep it so that there is abundant availability of charging and hence there is no that stringent restriction. And second thing, maybe this is something that they said that's okay. Right? So at this point of time, policy doesn't inhibit you from putting up. In fact, if you're a residential, you get around 3 to 5 rupees, much lesser than the EV tariff, which is 6 to 7 rupees, while the commercial tariff is 11 to 12 rupees. I would strongly recommend people at residential houses, go ahead and put it, and then the selling price of each unit is anywhere between 15 to 20 rupees. Now imagine 5 rupees is your input cost, 15 to 20 rupees is your selling cost. You are making a margin of 10 rupees on one unit.
Today, no other business gives you.
And then this is not automated.
Correct.
You don't have to stand there and welcome.
They just come, scan, they find you, they scan, and then charge.
That's
Perfect. So the other thing is, to build all these products, to come up with all these things, requires a really good in-house innovation team. Do you want to talk about that?
So I am as strong as my team, Major. And if I were to talk about my core team, I have people who have developed huge charging stations for Electra of 5 megawatt capacity in Bikaner Nagar, Pune. Right? I have those people with me. So they know in and out of those things. I have people who have worked in energy sector. Right? They know in and out of the tenders, the policies, everything with respect to discount. I have people who have worked with education sector in sales, right? Like Byju's and Toppers. They know how to sell franchises. And of course, I also have people from ISBs, right? Who are bringing those financial detailing and the operational excellence, right? So the legacy, right, of people who have been in the industry for a while, with the freshness of young blood, right, bringing the fresh perspective to this. So I think this combination is what makes ThunderPlus, and my job is only to orchestrate the synergy and energy between both of them and get the best out of it.
That's very good. Nicely brought out. In this journey, as a previous entrepreneur said, you need an ecosystem as an entrepreneur to support you. Yeah. If you could talk about the people or the organization that supported ThunderPlus in its journey.
I told you, right? In Jan 2024, when I started, my first billing was 8.3 lakhs. How was that possible? Because my earlier company, Eto Motors, where I was heading, and my investor also happens to be the promoter of Eto Motors. So from day one, I got a captive customer. I said, sir, whatsoever the charging hubs that are being served by other customers, give me some time and I will convert all of them into ThunderPlus. And that way, I got the base customers through Eto. And with Eto Motors as a base, I started selling the same solutions for Magenta, Moving, Quick Credits, all other kind of aggregators, right? So definitely, ecosystem helped me. And in my case, I would really thank Eto Motors. I would thank Electra, right? I would thank GATI Logistics. I would thank all Magenta, Moving, all these entrepreneurs with whom I worked in my previous things. When I said that I have started this, I need your support, they said, Rajeev, we are here with you. Go ahead and then start, I would say, serving us.
Perfect. So, you made a stat, you mentioned that in India, 300 cars, for every 300 cars, there is one charging station. In US, it is 15. Yeah. And also, as somebody who's been wanting to switch to electric car, the only reason why you pull back is the anxiety, right? What happens if I run out? Especially as my sir at TV, we do, 10 to 15,000 kilometers in a year traveling across India. And that's the second thing that we are going to work on. We want to do a yatra on a EV across India. We'll talk about that later with you. So my question is, at what stage do you think ThunderPlus will be able to give that comfort to end consumer that if I run out of fuel or run out of battery, in 15 kilometers I can get a charging station?
See, there are two things here. One is range anxiety, other one is charger anxiety. Now, range anxiety is more like a greed. Even if you were to say that this car gives you 1,000 kilometers, you will always be wanting for the 1,001st kilometer. Like the mileage, right? Or 20 kilometers, right? So this is always a greed. Second thing is charger anxiety. India as a market, if you look at it, it is always value for money market, right? For example, Tata Nexon was successful. Tata Tiago was successful. Despite having very high-end cars by Mercedes, etc., the EVs in these segments are being sold high. Why? Because value for money. Why are those expensive? Because those give probably 600, 700 kilometers of range. These might be giving 120, 130 kilometers of range, right? That means India is a market for smaller battery packs, smaller ranges, shorter ranges, so that your price is lesser. Because your price is directly proportional to the size of the battery. So the actual solution for them is not range anxiety, but charger anxiety. What do you mean by charger anxiety? Like the way we find right now, anywhere I see there is a petrol station, you should be able to be in a position or an ecosystem where everywhere I see there is a EV charging station. So from Hyderabad perspective, we have more than 45 chargers within the city. So that way, and all these chargers are very fast charge enabled, right? We are talking about 240 kilowatt, 320 kilowatt, not 30, 67.4, right? Where fast charging cars such as Harriers, B6, B9s, they get charged in 20, 25 minutes. That's it. Full, yes. 20 to 25 minutes, that's all. Yes. I will share one example of...
A break. You take a break, put it, plug in, have your coffee, come back and you charge them.
That's it. I'll tell one example. Recently, there are two customers who are very, very, I would say, they were overwhelmed, right? Because they have been charging their cars at a 30 kilowatt and a 60 kilowatt kind of a charging station. At ISKCON Temple, we have a 240 kilowatt charging station, right? So, BYD Celeon, right? That's a car which has come with a higher voltage architecture. That means 600 volts. So, when this guy connected it, it started giving him 600 volts into 300 amps power, which is roughly around 180 kilowatt hour. And his car battery pack is roughly around 60 to 70. And he comes already with certain charge. So within 15 minutes, what he noticed is, otherwise for a 60 kilowatt, he would wait up to 1.5 to 2 hours. This is number one. So he was very much amazed, and then he started asking us, give me the curves, give me the graphs. How is this possible? I have never experienced all of this. Now, when we posted this on LinkedIn, somebody with Tata Harrier came to us. Tata Harrier is one car that can take up to 250 amps. Again, it is not just about the charger. In a charging session, what happens is vehicle becomes the master and charger becomes the slave. So the vehicle must demand. Charger says, hey, this is my capability. And vehicle says, no, this is what my requirement. And Harrier takes up to 250 amps. And this guy comes and then 250 amps into 400 volts. He started drawing 100 kilowatt. Similarly for Mahindra B6, right? So these new age cars, once they started experiencing these things, right? Now for them, charger anxiety and the charging time and speeds is no longer a concern. And as I told you, network expansion. So from Hyderabad, we have Suryapet. From Suryapet, we have Vijayawada. From Vijayawada, we have Yeluru, Rajahmundry, Kovvuru, Anakapalli, Visakhapatnam. Not only that, very recently, we signed an MOU with the government of Andhra Pradesh, the Honorable Chief Minister of the state, Chandrababu Naidu Garu's vision. And as part of the MOU, throughout the coastal line of Andhra Pradesh, which is 974 kilometers, this is also called as Vizag-Chennai Industrial Corridor, every 25 kilometers, we are setting up a 100 kilowatt charging station, and every 100 kilometers, we are setting up a 1 megawatt ultra-fast charging station. Now imagine this, Andhra Pradesh will be the first state to have fast chargers enabled for every 25 kilometers, right? So whatever I'm talking is not a technical prophecy that would happen in 3-4 years time. It is something that is happening right now. It's present continuous. And also, you asked one more question, anxiety, right? What if my vehicle gets stuck? We have charger on wheels to serve four-wheelers. But when it comes to buses, their batteries are generally 300 kilowatt. Very huge batteries, and buses, they carry 50 customers, 60, 40 customers, and you cannot handle them when your bus gets stranded because of the sudden deep discharge of a battery. So that's where we collaborated with a German company called Me Energy, and we launched a ethanol based generator cum charger, which can be trailer mounted. So what happens, 2000 liters of ethanol it can house, and it can generate 150 kilowatt energy through 2 guns. So whenever your bus or car or anything is stuck, this particular product goes on the trailer, charges and enables it, right? So such kind of innovative solutions we are continuing to build so that the charger anxiety among the Indian customers, whether it is B2C or B2B, fleet operators or bus operators or B2C customers, the charger anxiety is completely removed.
That's amazing, because that's how you would bring more people to EV. In coming years. So, as you said, wherever you see a petrol station, right? To be in that position, you need to have charging stations also in the same manner. And the best way to do is to collaborate with the current fuel stations, right? Or the likes of IOL and all. Are you trying to do that?
Yes, we are already in talks with IOCL. We are already in talks with BPCL. But then the problem, what happened is, Major Sunil, these BPCLs and IOCLs were granted lots of crores of money by Department of Heavy Industry and Central Government almost 4 or 5 years ago. And what they have done is, they have taken the chargers and then they have installed left, right and center. See, installation of charging infra is one. Operating and maintaining is another. You see ghost towns, ghost buildings. Yes, beautiful buildings, high rises you have raised. But if nobody occupies, nobody lives in them, those become irrelevant. And that's exactly happened with many of these things. the thistles, bushes started to grow around. The goats would eat, right? The cables were cut down. That's where we went to these oil marketing companies as well as the nodal agencies, and we said, hey, you know what? You've done a great job. You've installed. But you missed a single point. You didn't operate and maintain. Of course, you wouldn't do that because that's not your bread and butter. Your bread and butter comes from the oil. So what we propose them is, allow us to take over all your charges. We'll bring them to life. Not just life, we'll bring customers to them. We'll drive business to you. We'll set up CCTV cameras. We will set up technicians if required. We will monitor them. We will upgrade them. We'll bring buses to them, right? So the proposal that we are working with oil marketing companies is not just about setting up a new infrastructure, but we were telling them we will take over all your existing infrastructure, make each one of them profitable, make each one of them operational. While doing this, we will continue to install new chargers. So the discussions are happening. It is only a matter of time before we come out in the press and then talk about it.
You know, a lot of dependency of everything to do with EV is on China because of raw material and equipment and parts and all of that. How is that going for you? I mean, are you dependent on Chinese supplies for this? And how, because with the current geopolitics going on, has it impacted or going to impact your future business? And what is the scope, if you can add in there, of Indian manufacturers doing it?
See, now this question has got two answers, Major. First, let us talk about vehicle. If you look at electric vehicle as a complete thing, except for the battery cell, majority of the components are already being manufactured in India. Motors, controllers, because these are electronic items which we have been doing for a while. Battery cell, the reason why we are not able to manufacture them is, of course, the lithium and cobalt, which are the key ingredients in the LFP batteries, which are a matured development right now. Those are from the mines of Brazil, South Africa, etc., which are majorly owned by Chinese companies. So you have no option but to depend on China for these cells. So what people do is they import those cells, then they connect those cells in series and batteries connection and make the battery pack as per their need, right? So will the dependency continue to exist? Yes, this dependency will continue to exist. However, the government has launched advanced chemistry cell production linked incentives, where it wanted to incentivize the localization of cell production. Ola Electric, then Rajesh Exports, Reliance Jio, all of these have participated in the tender and they have won. So it is a matter of 4 or 5 years before those mega factories come, where we start manufacturing the cells also. So from a vehicle perspective, that dependency continues to exist. Thanks to the recent sanctions by Mr. Trump, now China and India are friends. In a way, are becoming friends. And China is assured that I am going to share the technology, the know-how, and then the raw material with us. So that's a good news for Indian EV ecosystem. This is from a vehicle perspective. From a charger perspective, charger is a simple electronics product. You are manufacturing cell phone chargers, you are manufacturing laptop chargers. It just that it has got higher amps that run through it at a higher voltage, right? So that means your capacitors, others get bigger and brighter, right? So from a charger perspective, 90% of the components are again in-house, except for one critical component, which is called rectifier. We haven't yet developed the efficiency and capability in manufacturing and developing the rectifiers in-house. There are some companies in India who are trying to attempt, but for this rectifier at this point of time, we are still dependent on China as well as Taiwan. But again, it is a matter of few years before we start manufacturing rectifiers also in-house. That time, all the chargers become completely made in India.
So, Rajeev, very interesting journey, and I like the way, you built your business and the how you, but to do all these things, you require, some kind of collaboration to happen. And for entrepreneurs out there, would you recommend something? I mean, how would you say, how should they position themselves?
See, I strongly advise all the aspiring entrepreneurs, right? Build your brand. Build your brand. People might say, brand se kya hoga? I have a great product. It's not sufficient for you to claim that you have a great product. The market out there, the customer out there, stakeholders out there must say that, man, you have a great product. Absolutely. And that can only happen when you go talk about it. For example, when ThunderPlus came into the market, there are players who have been in existence since 2017. Classic example, Tata Power, the first EV charging company, because it is launched to support Tata Motors when it is launching its EV cars. Tata Motors, despite having Tata Power as their group companies, chose to collaborate and partner with ThunderPlus. Why? Because of the credibility, brand. Of course, I bring a lot of value to the table. I bring speed, agility. I kill all the bureaucracy, red tape kind of a thing that might exist in Tata Motors. The customer says, I need something tomorrow, I get that done. That's all there. But beyond that, Tata Motors should have found ThunderPlus that this is doing so and so. That can only happen when I talk to, say, for example, a nice storyteller like you. When people look at your podcast, they know that, okay, story of ThunderPlus, okay, how they started, what is it that they're building. Right? For example, Flixbus is a big company, right? It is based out of Germany and it's valued more than $3 billion. And for a startup who haven't even clocked 1 crore per month revenue, for them to entertain me as a charging partner, what capacity do I have? But again, position your brand so that people will respect and they feel that they have that inspiration that मुझे ThunderPlus के साथ काम करना है, right? And when you elevate your brand, when you build that brand, that's when you create pull of right stakeholders. And once they start coming in, for example, once Tata Motors is there, Mahindra is there. Once Mahindra is there, Maruti is there. Once Maruti is there, MG is there. Once Ather is there, TVS is there. It is the domino effect, right? That's how you build. So I encourage all the entrepreneurs. You might be building great products and you might undermine the need about talking about it, collaborating with media houses, talk openly in the, I would say, opportunities, podcast. Don't undermine them. Those are those nitro fuel that will boost your brand. And you will never know the subjective and, I would say, qualitative value. You may not measure the value that they add, but trust me, once you, for example, even today, any customer whom they interact with me, they say, hey Rajeev, I've been following you on the LinkedIn. What an amazing content you're writing. Right? So they already are connected with me before even speaking to me. And they already have that feel that he's a guy whom I can trust and then do a business with. That is only possible when you speak your brand out, when you speak your heart out, when you start having collaborations and then use and leverage every of these instruments like media, social media, YouTube, etc. to leverage your brand. That's what I've been doing. I've been practicing and people would say, where do you get all the time? You have will, you have a way, right? Yes, for example, this, you are towards the end of your day, tired. I am towards the end of my day, tired. But then we both chose to sit across and then talk so that there is some value that is added to the viewer who is doing this podcast. That's because there is passion in you, there is passion in me. Right? Where there's a will, there's a way.
You just got, TiE50 Hyderabad award. What does it mean to you as an entrepreneur?
It means a lot, Major. I'll tell you because I never knew that 400 applications were received. They were churned. 150 founders were called to the, I would say, the place. They were given, of course I was one of them, given 5 minutes, only 5 minutes time to pitch, another 5 minutes to Q&A. And after this, they conducted due diligence. I didn't know that. Due diligence from all legal perspective, due diligence from all financial perspective, due diligence from all business perspective. Does he really have those contracts with those customers? Does Flixbus really work with them? Or Tata Motors really work with them? I didn't know, but they have done all the, I would say, due diligence. And after all of this, they call you and then say, you are one among those top TiE50 of 400 applications that we have received. That's, I would say, a statement of validation, a badge of recognition that yes, we are doing something right and it is not being told by us. There is some jury who is sitting there who has validated multiple applications and picked me as one of those top deserving 50. So it means a lot to me, Major Sunil.
Before I let you go, Rajeev, MyStartup TV, we are a media house for entrepreneurs like you. We map their journeys, we follow them, what they do, bring out their challenges. What do you think of the kind of work we are doing?
Major Sunil, this is not the first time I'm meeting you, right? I still remember in 2021, in the month of Jan-Feb, the EV Masterclass, the company that I started, right? We were working with T-Hub and we were rolling out the first batch and MSR and many other, and Jesh, Ranjan Garu, they were all there. That's when I saw you, right? And trust me, first I was a bit curious. Generally, when you look at somebody wearing a My Startup TV, handling a camera, you expect an 18-year to 25-year-old guy. And here, somebody who looks very professional and obviously seems to be coming from a combat background, right? With all of these things, I was curious. That's when I struck my first conversation with you, trying to understand what exactly you're doing. From there to what I see now, your journey has been phenomenal, not just because you grew, but you touched many entrepreneurs. You I would say, sparked many of their journeys. You inspired thousands and lakhs of people through your interactions and your storytelling, and you continue to do that great work. So I think you not only grew by yourself, in the process you added immense value to entrepreneurs, to the startup ecosystem. That's when they said, let's do a podcast over computer, I said, no, if it is Major Sunil, I want to have a face-to-face conversation, because I know the insights that you will bring, which will add immense value, of course, to me and also to the viewers. So I really appreciate the way you have built the brand so far, and I strongly encourage to continue to do the good work, because not many media houses are focused on startups. Media houses, even today, I get hundreds of mails. You are the top, recognized CEO. Pay 25,000 rupees for the award, right? 2026, the best company to watch out for, 50,000 rupees for nominations. But you come from a different breed, right? You really have a genuine concern that you want to take the startup story of India to the next level, and I think you are doing it the right way. I'm more than happy and fortunate to collaborate with you. And I also encourage all the startup entrepreneurs, reach out to My Startup TV, discuss with them, talk to them. This may not be your forte, but amplification is their forte, right? So collaborate with them and leverage their strengths to build your brand.
Thank you for being our ambassador. You did a great job. Thank you very much. And we hope to see you again on some of our panel discussions around EV.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.